Now it's 23 countries spending more than 2% on defence spending, and we all know that we have to go upward. The UK is absolutely committed to 2.5, and we'll set out a pathway to 2.5 in a few months' time. It is clear to me that there is also, and the US has been clear about that, there is a big threat in the Indo-Pacific. People have given the impression that the Euro-Atlantic and the Indo-Pacific are tied as if it's tied just at this moment. It was tied in the Second World War. 30,000 British men lost their lives in the Indo-Pacific in the Second World War. It has always been tied. And we recognize that pacing threat as the United States bears down on that issue. So of course Europe has to do more. And then there's a question for us. At the moment, we are spending 53%, we're committed to that money on military spend towards Ukraine. 60% now is coming from Europe in terms of overall aid to Ukraine. So we have stepped up. But there is a question for Europe. If we look at GDP combined, it's about 0.01% that we are spending on that fight for Ukraine. We know this is the front line, not just for Ukraine, but for Europe. We know too that even when we get to a negotiated peace, Putin will not go away. So this is an existential question for Europe. We meet that question alongside the United States. At an appropriate time, we will get into a debate about security guarantees. And there will be an arrangement, of course, but quite rightly, we say that there is an irreversible pathway for Ukraine towards NATO. That is the cheapest, and it is the best mechanism to secure peace, not just in Europe, but across the Euro-Atlantic.
When it comes to that NATO membership, though, I just would like to get your thoughts on some of the comments we've heard already at the Munich Security Conference, suggesting that perhaps the best way, the best security guarantee we can do at this stage is telling Ukraine, if Russia invades you a third time, then you will immediately be part of NATO. Do you think that's too late? Do you think that's not good enough as a security guarantee?
There's tremendous complexity when we talk about security guarantees, and actually in different theaters of conflict, you see different types of security guarantee. I was in Ukraine a month before the war broke out, and at that time the OSCE was effectively the safeguard of that guarantee. And there was a monitoring mechanism. It was breached 20 times by the Russian. We cannot go back to that. We cannot go back to Minsk. That won't work. But it's also true that when we look at the border, this is 1,200 kilometers of border. There are 250 brigades currently facing off against each other. This would take tremendous manpower and resource. This is also a theater of conflict where we've seen major advance, drone technology particularly, and the capability now in Ukraine is tremendous. That may assist us with the guarantees that we need. But in the end, we will have to come to an arrangement whereby Ukraine has the guarantee and we have the collective guarantee that if Russia breaches a guarantee, we can act. And that is enough of a threat that they don't breach the guarantee. And those are the questions that we will need to get into in the months ahead.